Then Abram went up from Egypt, he and his wife and all his script, and all he had, and Lot with him, up to the south, ship-shape and trim. For Abram was most rich in stock, in cattle, silver, gold, and flock. And he went on his journey from the south so far until he'd come to Bethel, to the place where he had pitched his tent at first, you see, between Ai and Bethel, where he'd made the place to worship there at first, and there he just the same Abram did so call on Yah's name. As Abram called, beloved, upon your name, when he left Egypt with his wealth and came to Bethel. So may I seek resting place upon your altar and turn toward your face. Call on your lovely names between the city of Ai and of Bethel without pity. Then marching northward, Abraham and Lot there found a place to pitch their tents and got a haven where to keep their livestock. Gold and silver there too they found made of old, an altar consecrated to your name. They're waiting silently until they came. I seek my old forsaken altars where I once repeated your name to the air. Lot too, who went with Abram, had flocks, herds, and tents. Now it was bad, the land could not support them both, that they might live together. Growth of their possessions was so great, they could not both accommodate. So there was clash between the men that herded Abram's flock again, and those that herded Lot's livestock. What made things worse of a deadlock was Canaanite and Perizzite, both in the land put up a fight. So Abram said to Lot, please let there be no strife between us yet, yourself and me and those who herd my flocks, and yours it is preferred. Since you and I are relatives, is not the whole land that God gives? Before you let us separate. If you go left, I'll hesitate, not 1 minute to take the right. Or if that way is in your sight, then I'll go left. And Lot lifted his eyes and saw how well gifted lay all the plain of Jordan there. It was well watered everywhere. Before Yah picked off Sodom and Gomorrah, like Yah's plot, like land of Egypt out towards Zor's command. How many eyes, beloved, mistake the towers of Sodom and Gomorrah for the flowers of paradise? I lift my eyes to seek the blessing voice of Eden, where you speak, and see the rushing traffic, hear the din of market and of worship from within. The temples filled with peace and love, and still more idols than could in the desert fill the Kaaba. When the prophet came to find its true heart to bestow on humankind, the place most often sought to know you best is far more often where the idols rest. Turn me, beloved, away from paradise and watered plain. Let desert ways suffice. For himself the plain of Jordan, all its luscious gain, and journeyed east, and there they parted, and Abram lived in Canaan sheltered. Its land, and Lot lived on the plain, in cities drenched in northern rain. As far as Sodom pitched his tent, but men of Sodom, as men went, were wicked and exceedingly sinful against Yah shamelessly. The land I choose makes hardly difference now, and Sodom would seem heaven anyhow, compared with wealth of wickedness now told. Take London, for example, where the bold and insensate find every ruse of art and beauty to cover their hidden part in the destruction of the world, and those who try to live and die on pea and rose. Do not succumb, I tell myself and you, but seek out dwelling in the treed and true. And since all human institutions fare no better than Gomorrah, I look where the water is the best, since water's rare, yet still is found in Sodom's sun and glare. Then Yah spoke after Lot had gone to Abram, said, lift your eyes on the place where you are, north and south, toward east and west, despite the truth. For all the land you see I give to you and yours, a place to live forever, and I'll make your seed more than the dust of earth indeed. If one could count it, then they might count your descendants in their sight. Though I may not be child of Abraham,
my family history's opaque as a clam.
I ought to count it glory that I must be treated in this world like common dust. The promise that you made to Abram then was not the common one made to sweet men, but most astonishing, and it's no wonder that Abram had to second guess and blunder. Though to be frank, your word was clear enough, it's just that clarity is such strange stuff to us who live our lives in this illusion that even useless gold seems an effusion. But Abram knew the truth that children are the only wealth one has on barren star.
Get up and walk the land its length,
and with to you I give it strength.
Then Abram moved his tent and went and lived beneath the terebinth,
the trees of Mamre which are in Hebron, and built an altar in that place to worship Yah therein. In Mamre's revelation, in the shade of terebinth or oak and one grass blade, I pitch my tent and raise a slender psalm above the scent of frankincense and balm.
I rise and walk and pitch my tent again, till my life seems a whirling in the fen, a whirling and a march across the floor of earth beneath a sky without a door. Since I cannot climb to the gate of heaven, I joy to find you here on earth at 7 days in the 49, and breath to breathe. Each day I walk the altar without death. Beloved, I rise and walk the land you give, and pitch my tent and prostrate while I live.